Good evening, race fans, and welcome to another race here, round 7, here for the Frito-Lay Super Late Model Touring Series. Brought to you today by Team Goon Squad in 1080p, 60 frames a second. My name is Mason Heimbaugh, bringing you today's action. And what a race do we have here for you guys today. It's going to be an excellent one here as I am working on getting there. It is again. A little bit of a preview of what we are going to see here today. We have 8 lap heats set for today's race, as well as a 125 lap feature as the lights come on, illuminating the track, giving us a little bit of a better view of everyone on track here as our lone qualifying begins. This is going to be the first full feature race since I believe it was round 3, where we've just, at the beginning of the series, just had a little too many incidents happening a little too frequently throughout the series at the beginning. But we got the kinks worked out, hopefully so far, so we're bringing in today's action at this half-mile oval here at Martinsville Speedway. It's going to be an interesting race here today as we have these long straightaways here and some nice turns as well with some good elevation and good banking as well. It's going to lead to some great racing here. Let's get on board with some of our drivers here today and see what some of these guys are doing here today. As far as times, we're on board watching Brett Hahn on your screen right now in the number 71 machine. And that beautiful scheme there. And that MS Paint sponsored machine. That's going to finish Brett Hahn's qualifying. So we try and hop on board with some other drivers here that are making their way around the track as well, setting down their qualifying times. But this is a very short qualifying, and everyone is doing a great job so far. Brett Hahn leading the field, Noah Allison in second, actually first now. So he's going to set down an impressive time of 19:03 with Brett Hahn and Andrew Payne both setting a time of 19.13 here for their qualifying. It's going to be an interesting start to today's race. As last week we saw Ron Hart and Brett Hahn and Andrew Payne all finishing out in the top 3 for last week's race at Oxford Plains Speedway, which was an impressive race as well to witness. If you did not catch that action, you can tune in to the Team Goon Squad YouTube channel, check back in the archives, and watch that race if you find yourself fancying a race to watch. So we get ready and geared up for our first heat race. As drivers have seemed to have completed their qualifying, let's take a look at our grid for the first heat race for tonight. Michael Lemieux in first, John DeMeester in second, Jamie Beasley in third, Hayden Swank in fourth, Devin McDonald in fifth, Al Smith Jr. in sixth, Justin Callahan in seventh, David Payton in eighth, Nick Fleury in ninth, Jeff O'Quinn in 10th, Andrew Payne in 11th, and Noah Allison in 12th. And last but not least, Brian Rainville in 13th. That's going to be our grid starting today's first heat race here at Martinsville for round 7 of the Frito-Lay Super Late Model Series, the Touring Series. A little bit of a delayed start there, it seems like. Kind of had me confused there for just a moment. I was almost thinking that my computer froze up there for a second. Not sure what what happened there, but we're taking the cars around the field here, getting everyone lined up, ready to go for today's action. All 13 of our drivers here getting a nice double file line here. And the lights are out on the pace car. So we should see that pace car head into pit road here around, I believe, this turn or the coming out of this turn, if I'm not mistaken. I was mistaken. That's not to worry. We're going to have 7 laps as our pace car heads in. Our drivers get ready to start today's action here with Hayden Swank, Jamie Beasley, Devin McDonald, and Al Smith Jr. all out in front. Jamie Beasley just stomped on the gas pedal there. He took a nice, impressive start there on the rest of the field here. Hayden Swank almost on his bumper of that number 4 machine. Hayden Swank trying his best to try and keep up with Jamie Beasley now, as these two guys are also gonna have Devin McDonald and Al Smith Jr. duking it out side by side. A few other drivers looking back in the field are also side by side. A lot of action here throughout the rest of the field. 7 laps to go here. Impressive side-by-side action that we're seeing here from Al Smith Jr. and Devin McDonald. Al Smith in that number 96 machine, the white and pink, and Devin McDonald in that number 18, the white and red. Fantastic racing here. 6 laps left to go here. These are going to... Oh, and as we have a spin out there from the number 18 machine of Devin McDonald. The yellow caution comes out. Let's have a quick replay on that. See what in the world happens here. We're going to slow things down just a little bit, get a better view of what happens here. As we see the number 96 machine of Al Smith Jr. right on the outside of Devin McDonald. And so far, everything is looking good, looking clean. And there it is. Devin McDonald lets that rear end get away from him just a little bit and just takes himself on a little bit of a spin. Does not look like any other cars were involved in that, but looking at the damage to that number 18 machine, that is going to be a massive damper on Devin McDonald's race here today. He was looking very promising there at the start. It's unfortunate to see that happen here, but that's what happens when you can get a little too aggressive sometimes going into these turns. Maybe you're going just a little bit too fast. Your tires might not be ready, be able to handle that much speed going into these turns. It's very easy to do that here at these high-speed, short tracks here. So we have Andrew Payne in the number 93 machine in 9th currently. The last driver who is up any positions currently. Everyone else behind him in the field is currently down positions. John DeMeester in the number 2 machine is currently down 8 positions. Michael Lemieux down 10 from where he started, and Devin McDonald down 7. But everything looking back into the front of the field, Jamie Beasley and Hayden Swank, Al Smith Jr. and David Payton now are all going to be in the front of the field here duking it out. And David Payton looking a little squirrely there. Drivers tapping on their throttles. Ready to go. Pace car heads into pit road. Who's going to get the better launch? Is it going to be Jamie Beasley or Hayden Swank? As these guys take it around the corner. Let's see who's got the juice today. Jamie Beasley with an absolutely impressive launch, but Hayden Swank doing an another impressive job of staying behind that number 4 machine on that bumper going through turns 1 and 2 there. Coming into turns 3 and 4 now. Coming out, Hayden's doing an excellent job of trying to stay behind that number 4 machine. We have a little bit of action here as we see the number 2 machine of John DeMeester go into the wall. It looks like the number 40 machine of Michael Lemieux was also involved in that. Well, we're going to keep the race green as Jamie Beasley, Hayden Swank, and Al Smith Jr. first, second, and third respectively are leading the field currently, doing an excellent job as well, looking great on that track. So we take a wider look here at the rest of the field, gives you a little bit of a wider perspective of everyone on the track and what everyone is doing. Hayden Swank trying to take that low line around Jamie Beasley. Jamie Beasley doing a great job dropping down low, blocking Hayden from trying to get around him. Absolutely impressive work there from Jamie Beasley in that number 4 machine. Hayden Swank, a little bit of a love tap there to the number 4 machine. Jamie Beasley doing a great job of keeping it together on the final lap here. Hayden's trying his best to get into that first spot there, but Jamie Beasley is doing an excellent job putting up a fight, not letting Hayden get around him. These guys are definitely putting up an excellent fight here up in the front of the field. Al Smith Jr., I think, is just along for the ride in that number 96 machine, as that's going to be our checkered flag. Jamie Beasley, Hayden Swank, and Al Smith Jr. is going to round out your top 3 for that heat race. And for our next heat race, we have Blaze Brinkley in first, Cody Green second, John Kane in third, John Sinew in fourth, Brad Prenger in fifth, Eric Papineau in sixth, Ryan Smith in seventh, Michael Witt in eighth, Charles Darling in ninth, Austin Nielsen in 10th, Brett Hahn in 11th, Richard Pruitt in 12th. I am missing a name, apparently, but I think I have everyone, so we're just going to go with that. That is going to be our lineup for our second heat race here at Martinsville. As we take a look at our drivers getting ready to take it around the field here once again. You can hear drivers tapping away on their throttles. We're actually missing a driver that's all the way in the front of the field here. We have a driver, the number 22 machine. Looks like he's going to catch an EOL. Not sure for what reason at this point in time, but race control has everything under control as they do. Lights are off on our pace car here. Let's kick off the second heat race of round 7 for the Frito-Lay Super Late Model Touring Series. Blaze Brinkley, John Sinew, Eric Papineau, and John Kane all going to be leading out in the front of the field for this start here. Alright, our pace car is in. John Sinew and Blaze Brinkley going to be side by side here for this. For the start here of the second heat race. And Blaze Brinkley. And we have a collision from the 31 machine of Ryan Smith. Immediately, right off the rip. I wonder if the yellow caution is going to come out. It does not look like it's going to. We're going to stay green here. Let's keep looking at the action here and see what happens. Blaze Brinkley leading it out first. Doing an excellent job of that as well. He's got an impressive gap so far from John Sinew. A little over a half a second gap John Cena with Eric Papinel, Michael Witt, Austin Nielsen, John Kane, and a list of other drivers, all in a line doing a very good job. Not too much distance between these drivers. Everyone's doing a very solid job of kind of maintaining a nice little space between one another, not getting too close to each other. So we can see a lot of incidents happening from that sort of driving. But so far, everyone here doing an absolutely incredible job of racing. As we see John Cena with Eric Papinel, Michael Witt, and Austin Nielsen all in a little four-pack here, all going single file. Eric Papinel just trying to stay behind that number 86 machine of John Cena. He's doing an incredible job of doing so, but John is definitely pushing that car incredibly hard. With 3 laps left to go, Eric is going to be definitely hoping for John to, I think, make a mistake here within the next lap, so that way he's able to overtake him if he's able to. But John's looking quite impressive right now. I think Eric is definitely going to be... Eric definitely is going to have his work cut out for him, to say the least. If he wants to make anything happen here to get into at least the second finishing position for the heat race today. As Blaze Brinkley has absolutely dominated the field here. He's going to be first still, with a 2-second gap from the rest of the field. A very stark contrast to the first heat race here that we just saw here earlier. Checker flag is out. Blaze Brinkley is going to be your pole setter for today, with John Cena and Eric Papinel in second and third. And that will wrap up our second heat race for today. The drivers are going to head back into pit road and get ready to get a short 5-minute warm-up before today's start of the race. So we're going to have a look at drivers make their way around the track here. We're going to talk a little bit too about points for these drivers, who is where, and what my predictions are, what drivers are going to really excel in tonight's race. And to start that off, we have Brett Hahn in first with points. He's got a total points right now currently of 263, with Nick Fleury behind him with 238 points, and Hayden Swank also with 238 points. So, Nick Fleury, Hayden Swank, both drivers here tonight. Definitely very strong competitors, I would say, from both of these drivers. Who is going to be able to come out on top of the other? That is a good question. It's really hard to say who is going to be able to pull it off tonight this early on, but my guess would be that Nick Fleury will be able to at least lead in the race for a good amount of time, but Hayden Swank is definitely going to be putting that pressure on. We've seen that consistently from Hayden Swank, whether it be that he is just very aggressive throughout the entire race, always trying to contend out in the front of the field, and he's very consistent in doing so, and I think he'll be able to do that here again tonight. But whether or not himself and Nick Fleury will be duking it out side by side. Well, there's a chance. I do think that there's a possibility that Nick Fleury and Hayden Swank will find themselves next to each other door to door here a little bit, rubbing some paint on each other's doors. But it's really hard to say who's going to be leading in points after tonight, as these guys are going to be essentially tied for second position in points. In third, technically, for points would be Eric Papineau. He has 214 points. And following after him would be David Payton and Andrew Payne in fourth and fifth for points. A lot of these other drivers as well that are still competing, they're going to have quite the work ahead of them to be able to close the gap between the top three in points currently, especially with how consistent that these drivers are. Very impressive driving from all of them. So it's hard to say whether or not we'll see someone kind of rise from the ashes, if you will, and make an impressive comeback, so to speak. Put up our tower here so that way everyone at home can take a look at all the drivers' timing, seeing what they're putting down. Alright. Apologies for that. I'm looking at our tower at the moment and a little confused as to why it looks the way that it looks currently, but I will figure that out at a different time. In the meantime, we'll sort of talk a little bit more about this race, about who I think is going to be someone that may be able to be an up-and-comer in this series and maybe be able to contend in points and give Brett Hahn a little bit of pressure here, as we're going to take a look at our grid for today's race. Jamie Beasley starting first, Blaze Brinkley in second, Hayden Swank in third, John Sinu in fourth, Al Smith Jr. in fifth, Eric Papineau in sixth, Nick Fleury in seventh, Michael Witt in eighth, Justin Callahan in ninth, Austin Nielsen in 10th, Noah Allison in 11th, John Kane in 12th, David Payton in 13th, Brad Prenger in 14th, Andrew Payne in 15th, Brett Hahn in 16th, Jeff O'Quinn in 17th, Cody Green in 18th, Devin McDonald in 19th, Ryan Smith in 20th, Michael Lemieux in 21st, Charles Darling in 22nd, John DeMeester 23rd, Brian Rainville 24th, and rounding out the field is Richard Pruitt, 25th. So our racers take it around the track here, following behind the pace car, getting ready to go here. An absolutely impressive field of drivers here tonight. 25 drivers in total here at Martinsville Speedway. Geared up for an incredible race here. 125 laps around this half-mile oval track. That's going to be an interesting change, I think, from a lot of the tracks that we've seen here already in this series. These guys are going to have a lot of speed to work through here in this track. But it also means that our pace car is in, and these drivers are ready to go here. Making it around that fourth turn there. And over the starting line we go. Blaze Brinkley and Jamie Beasley duking it out for the first spot, but Blaze Brinkley taking the first position there, but looked like Jamie Beasley and Hayden Swank had a little bit of a duke there. A duke out. Looks like Hayden Swank trying to duke it out now with Jamie Beasley, trying to get around that number 4 machine. A lot of interesting action happening here. Looks like Al Smith Jr. in that number 96 machine. He doesn't want anything to do with that. He's hanging just far enough back that he doesn't have to deal with it too much, but staying close enough that he's in the action, staying fast, may be able to even make a pass here as he gets a little bit closer. And Jamie Beasley again making strange mistakes there and dropping far back in the field. He's down 4 positions now from where he started. He's 5th currently, and he's got a lot of competition closing in behind him extremely fast. Now down to 6th position as Nick Fleury in the number 25 machine gets around him quite easily, I would say. Not sure what's happening in that number 4 machine as we see the 86 machine go sideways. The number 34 machine of Austin Nielsen involved in that. Let's see if we can take a look at that real fast, figure out what in the world was going on there. Looking at John Sinu in the number 86 machine. Just taps the bumper of the number 4. That's enough to unfold a ton of carnage after that. John's not feeling too great right now. I have a feeling in that number 86 machine he's probably kicking himself. Back in the action, taking a look here at Austin Nielsen in that number 34 machine. He's currently going to be behind Jamie Beasley, who was also involved in that incident. He was just minorly tapped on the rear driver's side there on the bumper. Wasn't enough to spin him out. He was able to keep the car in control and stay out in front here, or at least in the position that he's currently running. He's in 7th currently. He's going to have Andrew Payne, Noah Allison as well on his tail. As our 9th caution actually comes out onto the track here. Let's see if we can take a look at that. That was during the caution, so I'm not sure what we are under caution for at the moment. Well, we are going to let race control figure out what they're going to do here. Lights are on the pace car. We're just going to let these guys get lined back up, get ready for another green flag run here. We have Blaze Brinkley and Hayden Swank, Al Smith Jr., Michael Witt, all in the front of the field currently. Blaze Brinkley, another driver here in this series that has also been a very strong driver here. He's 22nd in points. He's had a few rough races that have put him pretty far back, I would say. Definitely, probably not ideal for Blaze Brinkley, but tonight in this case, he's going to have a chance to lead the race, maybe even finish in the lead. But I don't want to say anything too early. I don't want to jinx anyone. So we were only on lap 9 of 125. We still have a lot of racing left to go here before we can make any even sort of guess as to what's going to happen here. Anything can happen at these short track races with these especially fast cars. The lights are off on our pace car. And our pace car is in Hayden Swank and Blaze Brinkley. We're going to be side by side here. Taking it out of turn 4 here. And over the start line we go once again. Blaze Brinkley leading the field once again with another impressive start, I gotta say. Very consistent in his starts. Launching very, very quickly, very smoothly. Hayden Swank and Al Smith Jr. duking it out side by side. We have Nick Fleury and Michael Witt as well, door to door. As I say that, Hayden Swank gets sent sideways. The number 86 machine gets involved. The number 2 machine, a handful of drivers all crashing into one another. Let's see if we can take another look at that real quick. We taking a look further back in the field here. We have Ryan Smith in the number 31 machine. A dog pile of cars here in the back of the field that collected after everyone in front of them just wanted to check up and make sure that they didn't get involved in the incident in front of them. A lot of action happening there right after the restart. Not a great start to the race where the limited race feature has been lifted. That's, well, tough break, I would say. But we're still early on in the race. We've seen a lot of great racing so far already, and I'm still rooting on for these guys to be able to put on a long green flag run here. Just getting the kinks worked out. Blaze Brinkley and Hayden Swank, Al Smith Jr., Michael Witt. All 4 of these guys are going to be leading once again here. For this restart, I didn't see if the pace car lights are still on, so we still have a few more laps to go here before we see that pace car head back into pit road here. So these drivers are going to now, looks like, go double file. I think I'm wrong. I think these guys are just kind of giving themselves some breathing room here, some nice fresh track, if you will, to get their tires on, cool them off a little bit. And actually, if we'll notice here as well, if you look at the number 26 machine, Michael Witt here, you can see the front end damage that has been done to his machine there. You can also see it on his driver's side, a little bit of damage to his body work there as well. But so far, it hasn't had any implication on his race so far, as he's going to be 4th currently. And definitely putting the pressure on here as Pace car heads into pit road. The drivers have started once again, looking at Blaze Brinkley here lead the field once again with Hayden Swank on his tail, almost on his bumper. This guy's heading into turn 3. Hayden Swank trying to catch up to that number 11 machine. He's able to gain a little bit more speed, but not a whole lot. Blaze is doing an excellent job maintaining his line going into these turns, coming out of turn 4 now. Or excuse me, that's turn 2. Heading into turn 3 now. Blaze doing an excellent job of being consistent. But is the rest of the field able to hold the same, do the same, and keep this race going here? Let's take a further look back here. Let's check in with the number 93 machine of Andrew Payne in the wide view here and give us a little bit better of a view of the entire field here as we see cars going door to door here. I believe that's going to be the number 38 machine of David. Nope, that's going to be Justin Callahan, the number 75 machine that we saw go door to door with the number 4 machine of Jamie Beasley. And speaking of Jamie Beasley, let's check back in with him. He's down 12 positions now from where he started. Unsure what's going on with that number 4 machine today. Excellent start, and it just seemed to slowly fade away. And it only seems to get worse and worse as we see that number 4 machine just have a little bit of a shake-up there. I wonder if the setup that he has, maybe it was adjusted for daytime. Given that it's nighttime now, the track's going to be a little bit colder. You might find the car wanting to snap on him a little bit more than usual. That can be the case sometimes if you're practicing on a warmer track and you go to a colder track, and you might not be able to push that car the same way that you were able to when everything is nice and warm. But Jamie Beasley just trying his best to keep on a good race here. We see everyone doing an excellent job maintaining their lines, trying to do their best to keep this race green and clean. Let's check in just a little bit further up here with David Payton. He's currently 10th, up 3 positions from where he started. He has Brett Hahn in front of him currently in that number 71 machine. Now David Payton is another fast driver here to look out for. While he might be in 10th position currently, I would not put David Payton out of the picture here completely, especially that it's only lap 20 of 125. David is an excellent driver here, and given that he's behind Brett Hahn, I'm sure he's definitely going to want to be pushing that car as hard as he can to try and get around that number 71 machine, because if there's anyone that you want to be able to pass, it's definitely going to be the points leader, Brett Hahn. Now looking just a little bit further up as well, we have Andrew Payne in that number 93 machine, the Team Goon Squad sponsored machine, looking great as always. He has Noah Allison in that 24 machine with Austin Nielsen and I believe Michael Witt, all in a four-piece line here with a few other cars around him. Brett Hahn and David Payton closing in behind him. Not too quickly. Brett Hahn is slowly getting behind Andrew Payne. But Andrew right now is just trying his best to stay clean here and not push that car too aggressively and find himself into the wall here. Everyone wants to be able to finish these races and see that checkered flag comes out. So whenever you find yourself out of the race, it's always a bit of a disappointment. But everyone seems to be itching for that checkered flag here and is doing an excellent job of racing. So we're gonna look at our number 3 position currently, Nick Fleury in the number 25 machine. He's going to have his work cut out for himself, as he has quite the line of drivers behind him, and every single one of them a very strong competitor in this series. But that number 25 machine seems to be just fast enough to stick it out in front and hold it out where he's got it currently. He's going to be up 4 positions from where he currently started. Let's take a quick couple laps on board with Nick Fleury and just see how fast he's pushing this machine around this track, and let everyone listen to just the beautiful sounds of Super Late Model. Nick Fleury absolutely sending that 25 machine around this track, doing an excellent job of it as well. Holding it out in 3rd position currently. He's going to have his work cut out for him to be able to maintain that spot here today. So whether or not he'll be able to stay in this 3rd spot, well, that remains to be told. So we're on lap 32 currently, going on number 33. A long race to go here still at Martinsville Speedway, but everything is looking good so far. We actually see some cars touching the wall coming out of turn. I believe that was turn number 2 or 4. I believe that was turn number 2 actually, that they came out of there just a little bit too hot. We're grinding up against the wall there. Well, that just goes to show how fast these drivers are sending these cars around this track, and how much they want to be able to try and get around one another. As we see the number 24 machine of Noah Allison take the inside line, and Brett Hahn taking the inside line. As I say that, around Noah Allison, Brett Hahn is now going to be sixth place. And as I say that, the number 26 machine goes sideways. Let's see if we can back that up and see what happened there. Michael Witt is going to be the man involved in that. We're going to back things up here just a little bit. See just what happened here. You can see him going sideways there. So we have David Payton in that 38, just gets into the rear driver's side bumper of Michael Witt there in the 26 machine. Gets him sideways, and Michael Witt is fortunately still going to be in 10th position currently now from where he's at. David Payton, I believe, is going to be served an EOL for that incident, as it did appear to be he did appear to be the driver at fault for that incident. But when you're coming into these corners that quickly, it's kind of hard to check up when the driver in front of you it might not have the same line in mind as you. We'll leave it at that. So our drivers get lined back up here, and it looks like, actually, as I said, that Michael Witt is going to be served an EOL for that as well. Nope, never mind. I was wrong. I was trying to confirm that, and I was wrong. Now that we got that sorted out, figured out, lap 35 of 125. This is our third caution here tonight. can already see in the timing tower as well. Sorry, apologies for that. Oh, you can see that we have three drivers that are out of the race currently. That brings our field down to a total of 22 drivers on the track, but that's still quite the field here as we take a look. Pace car heads into pit road. Hayden Swank getting a little loose there on the restart. Unsure what happened there. He's going to drop back. He's going to be door to door now with Hayden Swank. Or with Nick Fleury, excuse me. Blaze Brinkley taking off on the rest of the field here. Hayden Swank with quite the damage to that front end. As you can see, that front driver's side tire sticking out of the bodywork there. Nick Fleury's going to try and take this inside line around Hayden Swank. They're going to be door to door still. These guys are going to be duking it out here for the second position. And it is quite the battle. And Nick Fleury's going to be able to get out in front of Hayden Swank in that 35 machine. Hopefully he'll be able to maintain that. As we have another driver here on the hunt in quite the pack as well. The number 71 of Brett Hahn. Ooh, a little bit of a shake up there from the 34 of Austin Nielsen. We saw him just get a little wiggly there, but I think whenever you see that 71 of Brett Hahn in your mirror, I think anyone would get a little sweaty in the palms, if you will. Definitely a fast driver to be contending against, especially when you are the one ahead of him. But Austin Nielsen doing a great job. He's in third currently. I think he wants to stay there. But Brett Hahn is on a mission. Brett Hahn up 12 positions from where he started tonight. Lap 39 of 125. I would say that's quite impressive to be able to gain that many positions in the amount of laps that that has gone by here. It's a great job for Brett Hahn. He's going to be seeking another win here tonight, I think, to add to his points and give himself a nice comfy cushion in that points lead. As we see Hayden Swank here in 5th position, down 2 from where he started in 3rd at the restart. He's going to have Noah Allison and Andrew Payne as well as Al Smith Jr. behind him. Hayden Swank, definitely unfortunate to see the front end damage that he's having to deal with currently. Pretty certain that he's definitely fighting that car. Going into these turns, it's got to be pretty difficult to keep that car in a straight line, especially when you're stressing that front left tire. Whoa. Hayden's doing a great job, though, in that 35 machine. The fact that he's able to stay out in 5th, keep it out in front of the drivers that he's got behind him right now, got to give credit to Hayden Swank. He's doing a great job, trying to do his best. And hopefully he'll be able to have a great rest of the race tonight. But he's got Brett Hahn in front of him, a man that is on a mission. He's 4th. Brett Hahn is 4th currently, seeking to get into that top 3. Noah Allison as well in that number 24 machine. He's going to be in this kind of string of drivers here towards the front of the field. Oh, as we see the number 2 machine, going to be lap traffic John DeMeester taking that high line, getting out of everyone's way here to let everyone go by, but looks like everyone was kind of quickly going around him there. Kind of interesting to watch there for a second, but back to what I was saying, Noah Allison in this string of drivers here in the front of the field, along with Andrew Payne and Al Smith kind of rounding out the back of this string, if you will. These guys have been fighting pretty hard to try and catch up to the front of the field here, but as we just saw again there, Andrew Payne and Al Smith Jr. both went into the wall. You can see just a little bit, kind of the paint scraped off the right hand side of these cars here as they come out of this turn here. They're just getting they're a little too fast coming out of turn 4 there. I believe that's the correct turn. There it goes again. Andrew Payne just getting into that wall, and that's just gonna kill your time more and more as the race progresses. And that's the unfortunate thing to see in these longer stints here. 125 laps is a long ways to go. We're only on lap 49, almost to the halfway point. But when you're having struggles like this and you're having inconsistencies like this, it's gonna hurt your performance in the long term. But Andrew Payne is 7th currently, so let's hope that he doesn't have any more major incidents before the end of this race, and hopefully he's able to at least maintain his current spot or even push it further and get up to the front of the field here. But speaking of the front of the field, let's check back in all the way in the front of the field with Blaze Brinkley currently leading first. He's got almost a 2-second gap to Nick Fleury in that number 25 machine. Blaze is looking extremely comfortable here today, doing a great job of holding his line, being very consistent today. And I would say this is just a great example of consistency working in your favor. Now, you don't always have to be the fastest, because anybody can be fast, but it's whether or not you can be fast over and over and over again and not make mistakes. That's what kind of sets the bar, if you will, as far as a racer is concerned. And Blaze Brinkley here is putting on an absolute clinic for these guys here today, showing them how it's done here at Martinsville. So Blaze is feeling, I think, very comfortable where he's at in first position currently. Lap 55 of 125, closing in on that halfway mark. Let's check back in here with Nick Fleury. Nick Fleury now has Brett Hahn in his rear view. As I say that, Austin Nielsen has a little bit of a moment there and goes sideways. We're still green though. We're still racing, so everything is still good to go, but Austin Nielsen definitely has to be hurting after that. Just a minor slip up, just got a little sideways. A little skittish from that number 34 machine there. And finds himself just a little bit farther off pace from where he was. Definitely unfortunate, but an advantage for Andrew Payne, Hayden Swank, Al Smith Jr., and Noah Allison, who are all seeking to try and get up to the front of the field here. So all of these guys are kind of all using each other's draft to push one another forward, give each other just a little bit more speed going into these straights. And these are not extremely long straights, but they're long enough that you can go quite fast around this track. So we take it around this straightaway. We can see speeds of up to 120 miles an hour from these cars, which is just absolutely impressive on a short track like this. For these guys to be able to keep it together and keep these cars going in a straight line. For as long as these races go, it can get quite exhausting on the mind. Having to sit in your sim rig or chair or whatever you use to do your sim racing. These longer races can definitely be a challenge for some people, but others are able to do it with ease. Different breeds of people, all kinds of racers that we'll see here, and that's what makes racing such a fun sport, and that's what makes iRacing incredible. The American Sim Racing Club as well, for bringing people like who we're seeing here in tonight's race together to put these on and do some excellent racing here. Now, I want to look at a little bit of a wider view of the track here again, just to kind of show how far spread apart everyone is starting to become. Now, we've already seen some lap traffic come into play a little bit, and that's going to start happening here again as Blaze Brinkley is going to be catching up to the... It was Nick Fleury. No, that's not right. The number 2 machine, excuse me, of John DeMeester. He's going to be catching up to John DeMeester again for a second or a third time, I believe. I believe it's the second time that Blaze Brinkley will be passing John DeMeester in that number 2 machine. But as you can kind of see here, there's not a whole lot of packs coming around here. You kind of see this long string that we've been following along with here for quite a few laps. We're on lap 67 now of 125. Brett Hahn on a mission, getting behind Nick Fleury in that number 25 machine. Let's jump in on that action and see what Brett Hahn here is doing. Let's actually hop on board with Brett Hahn in that number 71 machine just to see what he's doing. Oh. Brett Hahn, an absolutely astonishing driver here in the Super Late Model Series. As Brett Hahn is going to be putting the pressure on the number 25 of Nick Fleury. Nick Fleury is definitely feeling it right now, as Nick is going to be trying to put on his best performance here to stay in front of Brett. And Nick's doing quite a good job of doing that right now, but Brett, he's just able to push that number 71 machine very hard and aggressively to be able to stay on that bumper of that number 25. You can see it on your screen here. Every corner that we see the number 71 and the 25 go into, that 71 is right on that bumper. Some excellent racing here from our second and third position drivers currently, with Austin Nielsen in the number 34 in 4th place still. Doing an excellent job of holding it out in front of Andrew Payne and Hayden Swank, who are trying their best to catch up to the front of the field here as well, and also catch up to Austin Nielsen and make an overtake on that 34 machine. But Hayden Swank and that number 35 machine, with the damage that he's got to that vehicle, I'm actually impressed that he's still holding it out here as long as he is with the damage that he has. The fact that he's in 6th position currently, as I say that our caution comes out onto the field here. Let's see what happened. I don't think that was it. I am not sure what that was all about. But all of our drivers are entering into pit road. We're going to see some drivers get some Some fresh Goodyears, some fuel. We see Blaze Brinkley and Hayden Swank both taking some tires. Looks like Hayden there only taking a set of right-hand tires as well. Hayden's back out on the track. Ready to get going here once again, but we're still under yellow flag conditions. So no one's going to be leading any laps right now. There's our pace car. Drivers are going to get lined back up here once again. Lap 76 of 125. 49 laps left to go here. You know, I talked about this earlier. About how I said I wasn't sure who was going to be our pole setter or who was going to take the lead in points between Hayden Swank and Nick Fleury today. Hayden Swank, ooh, a man also on a mission with as well as Brett Hahn. Hayden Swank here just doing his absolute best to try and hang out in the front of the field here. I really, you know, and that's why I had such a hard time earlier trying to figure out who was going to do what, because both of these drivers have some races they're out in front, very solid racing, very consistent, very clean, and then they have some races where they don't have the best of lines. They're not the fastest driver. It kind of varies with these guys, so it's hard to say who is going to do better. But Hayden Swank is doing a great job here, but also Nick Fleury. Nick Fleury's up one position from where he started. While he's not the fastest driver, he's still able to compete. And now that we've got a yellow flag restart here, everyone's on at least some fresh set of tires, I think. At least I'd hope. As well as maybe some fuel. You wouldn't need a whole lot, as we only have 49 laps to go here. Timing's changing on me, telling me different numbers. Making me change my words on the fly. But our pace car lights are off. So we get ready to take these drivers around here. Yet again, pace car is in. Drivers rev their engines coming out of turn 4 here. And we are off. Yet again, Hayden Swank and Blaze Brinkley duking it out door to door here, going into turns 3 and 4 here. Who is going to be able to stick it out? Blaze Brinkley looks like he's going to be able to get it out in first position and hold it here out in front of the 35 machine. He's able to do that successfully. Hayden Swank trying to get on that bump. Oh, and as I say that, the number 25 of Nick Fleury goes sideways into the wall. That sends out another yellow caution. Let's see what happened there. Nick Fleury taking it around, I believe, turn 4 there, coming out. Interesting. Okay. Here we are. Let's take a look at the crash here with Nick Fleury. Find out what happened. Oh, looks like he just got a little bit of a luff tap there. No other cars seemingly involved in that one. Single car incident. Looks like there was one other car involved. So technically a 2-car incident. We'll go with that. We see Nick Fleury here in the back of the field. Hate to see that for Nick Fleury here, the number 25 machine. Another strong competitor in this series. We also see Brett Hahn here in the back of the field, which is unfortunate to see, as he was starting to gain quite the significant amount of positions there. Will he be able to pull that off here again, as we see Nick Fleury head into pit road, assuming for some work to that car. As you can see there, it looks like he might have some suspension issues, might even a blown tire. Who knows what's going on with that 25 machine. Unfortunate to see that, though, for Nick Fleury. Put on an excellent race, though. We might see him come back out here on the field. But we'll keep an eye on that here in the booth and see if Nick Fleury comes back out to join us here again, as it looks like he does. Nick Fleury is out of the pits, going to be returning to the field, ready to race here again. So we see Blaze Brinkley here, right on the bumper of the pace car. I can't recall the exact series. I think it was NASCAR, but there was a driver that gave the pace car a good old love tap. Always a funny sight to see, especially in real life. Pace cars in. Once again here, Hayden Swank and Blaze Brinkley door-to-door on the restart, but that does not last for very long, as Blaze Brinkley just stomps on the gas pedal and absolutely sends it. He's going to have a nice, impressive gap from Hayden Swank and Austin Nielsen, who are currently duking it out for second position, but Hayden Swank has got a little bit more speed than that number 34 machine, so he's able to stick it out in second currently, but Austin Nielsen is trying his hardest to try and get behind the number 35 of Hayden Swank and make a move on him. But as I say that, Andrew Payne is also closing in on the mix. He wants some of that action as well as we enter lap 79. The window for opportunity is closing for a lot of these drivers, so a lot of these guys are going to have to start pushing these cars extremely aggressively to be able to make something happen here before the race ends here. And that checkered flag comes out, and your fate is sealed, so to speak. These guys are ripping it around the track on their fresh set of Goodyears. However many they decided to take, well, that's up to the drivers. It seemed like only a few of them took all four, and some of them took only two. So we'll see how that works out for a lot of these drivers here, as Blaze Brinkley is having a very impressive restart here again. Blaze, as I've said already, has done a very good job on his restarts, very consistent in pushing that car extremely fast right off the rip. And Hayden Swank, another driver that I really have to give credit to. Hayden is dealing probably with a lot of issues with that 35 machine, considering the damage that he's got. Keeping this car under control, as I've said already, it cannot be easy, but he's making it look easy right now. But looking back here just a little bit further in the back of the field, we have Noah Allison in the 24 machine. He's going to be 6th currently. He's going to be behind the number 43 of Eric Papinow on that bumper. Going out of turn number 4 here, Eric is going to get a little bit more speed than Noah Allison here, but Noah doing a great job of maintaining his line and checking up where he needs to be able to stay behind Eric Papineau. Maybe even be able to make a pass here, but the low line seems to be the preferred one here to make passes at, as that high line here does not seem to be too effective in holding out the speed that these drivers want to be able to maintain going into these turns here. As you start, oh, as I say that, the number 43 machine gets a little bit of a love tap. Oh, the 24 almost on his roof there for a second. Narrowly avoids catastrophe. Let's see if we can take a look at that. Noah Allison involved in a catastrophe of a wreck here. So we're going to take a slow-mo gander here at what happened. We see Eric Papineau start to get loose and sideways. Noah Allison tries to do his best to check up and avoid that 43 of Eric Papineau. And then the number 23 machine also getting involved in that one as well. Oof. The rest of the drivers in the field doing an excellent job trying to check up and avoid the carnage around them. Hate to see that happen here. This is our 6th caution here at Martinsville Speedway. Lap 87 of 125 here tonight. Very excellent racing so far. I've loved the action that we've been seeing here tonight. It's been absolutely impressive to watch. And I hope everyone at home has been enjoying it as much as I have. It's been an exciting night here at Martinsville. As we're going to tune in here with Blaze Brinkley and the rest of the field here in the front behind the pace car. Lights are still on the pace car, so we're still going to take it around the track a couple more laps. Blaze trying to pit maneuver the pace car. A little bit of a blip there from Blaze Brinkley. Looks like we have a driver getting that lucky dog. Gonna make some laps around the track, around the rest of the field here. Actually, I want to have a look here at Hayden Swank's car again. For a second, it looked like he had some camber on the left front tire there that wasn't supposed to be there from the angle before. It threw me off for a second, so I just had to double check. But everything seems to be all right for Hayden Swank in the 35 machine. About as okay as he can make it. And the lights are off on our pace car. So we're getting ready to rock and roll here once again. Pace car is in. And the green flag is out. Blaze Brinkley taking a lead on the rest of the field here, as he does time and time again here. And especially throughout this race, Blaze has done an impressive job. We're seeing a whole lot of action here. I have no words. I'm actually at a loss here. We have Austin Nielsen actually in second now in front of Hayden Swank. Andrew Payne in the number 93 trying his best to also catch up into the mix of things as well. But Austin Nielsen Doing an absolutely impressive job here. It looks like he's found something in that number 34 machine to give himself a little bit of juice to send this around the track and secure a second finish position here tonight as we enter lap 90 of 125. He has quite the opportunity here to be able to secure a top 3 spot here with only 34 laps left to go. Hayden Swank on a mission to try and get around that 34 machine. As I said, Hayden's going to have a little bit of damage to be dealing with that car, so it's going to be hard to say whether or not he's going to be able to pull it off here. But Hayden is a very solid driver, so anything can happen for Hayden. But looking a little bit further back, we have Andrew Payne in the 93 machine with Al Smith Jr. A little closely behind him. Al Smith Jr. has almost a half a second gap to close before he's on that bumper of Andrew Payne, but doing a great job just trying to catch up at the moment. And Andrew Payne as well, just trying to stay out in front with the rest of the field here. Looking at the wide angle view here of the field, as we have another caution come out onto the field. Looks like John Sinu involved in this one, the number 86 machine. Getting a little bit of a love tap. Oh, no. Oh, John. What an unfortunate sight to see for John here. That car does not sound happy. Hopefully John will be able to keep it working here, as that is an unfortunate incident to be involved in here, especially towards the tail end, with only 30 laps left to go here. Definitely not what you want to have happen. We get ready to take drivers around the track once again. Lights are still on the pace cars, so we still have a couple laps to go here before we get things rocking and rolling again. But I just want to take a quick look here at Austin Nielsen in that number 34 machine. Just taking a look at the damage to that vehicle, while very slight, it almost looks like the front left is sort of dipping down a little bit further than the rest of the car. Not sure if that's just a little bit of fender damage, but either way, it does not seem to be affecting Austin's racing whatsoever. So he's going to be second right now, behind Blaze Brinkley in that number 11 machine. So Austin has definitely found something in that 34 to be able to put himself out in the front of the field and be able to contend for a top 3 finish here. Lights are off on the pace car. Let's get ready to race here once again. We're going to take it around the track, I believe, one more time. So we get a nice, beautiful view here of all the drivers here on the track. Pace car heads into pit road. Drivers take it around turn 3 into 4, and our green flag is out. We are racing once again. Lap 95 of 125. 30 laps left to go here in round 7 at Martinsville Speedway for the Frito-Lay Super Late Model Touring Series. Hayden Swank, Austin Nielsen, Andrew Payne, and Al Smith Jr. A field of other drivers. Man, the front of this field is looking absolutely excellent right now. We have Blaze Brinkley, who's just putting on a clinic for these drivers, showing them how it's done here at Martinsville Speedway. And then we have everyone else who is just fighting tooth and nail to try and get around each other and make something happen here and contend for a top 3 finish. And Hayden Swank, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Wasn't too sure earlier if he was going to be able to get all the way out into the front of the field here like he's doing now, but here he is in second place, putting that pressure on Blaze Brinkley and closing that gap rather quickly, I would say. Hayden Swank on a mission to try and take that first spot from Blaze Brinkley and maybe even finish out this race in first place. But only time will tell, as we have Austin Nielsen and Andrew Payne duking it out for third place. Austin Nielsen doing his best to stick it out in front of Andrew Payne. He has quite the competition to deal with. Austin Nielsen absolutely doing a great job of just trying to maintain that line and do what he can. It doesn't seem like he's trying to take a second position or anything and try and get on that bumper of Hayden Swank. I think right now Austin Nielsen just wants to stay in third and be able to have a third place finish. So all he's got to do is just keep that number 93 machine behind him. And he's doing a good job of that. But another driver here that to look out for, Brett Hahn. We saw earlier he was down in 18th position, I believe. He got sent back to the field, and that kind of hurt his position, but he's back up here in 6th position now. He's going to be working his way up to Al Smith Jr., who's 5th currently and hasn't gained or lost any positions. So he's going to be neutral in where he started. But he's going to be down a position here if he doesn't defend his position from Brett Hahn, who is eager to get around that number 96 machine and put some pressure on the rest of the field here, who I'm sure he wants to be contending with at this point in time. And David Payton, kind of all on his lonesome here in that number 38 machine. He's going to be currently 7th. Doesn't have a whole lot of competition around him except Brett Hahn, who is now a little bit closer to him than he was before a few seconds ago. And that's how quickly things can change here in racing. If you're new to racing or just getting into it, these things can happen very, very quickly. All it takes is one mistake on the throttle, brake too early, brake too soon, or brake too late, brake too soon. All these things are contributing factors to your speed and just your time around the track. Every single one of these drivers here doing an absolutely fantastic job. Most of these guys are setting lap times in the ballpark of 19.6, 19.5, 19.4 on the very low end if you're Brett Hahn. But David Payton here just doing his best to try and stick it out here with the rest of the field here. In 7th place, Nick Fleury. Behind him in 8th place, Nick is going to be down 1 position. Especially from that incident he had to deal with earlier. The fact that he's in 8th position now, credit to him for doing a great job and holding it out and being able to stick it out as long as he's been able to here. Looking back here at Andrew Payne in the number 93 machine, he's going to be 4th. We can kind of see that he's lost a little bit of time from Austin Nielsen. He was almost on the bumper of Austin Nielsen there for a minute. But it seems like he's kind of fallen back just a little bit, and that's given the opportunity for Al Smith Jr. and Brett Hahn to catch up to that number 93 machine and possibly even make a pass on Andrew Payne here. But Brett Hahn here is going to be the man to watch, as he might be able to get himself up into the front of the field here. I don't think he'll be in second position. He might be able to pull off third if we see another restart happen here. Well, actually, if we see another restart happen here, first place could definitely happen for Brett Hahn. But if it's anything, if we stay green here for these last 14 laps, Brett Hahn is 6th currently, but the gap between Brett Hahn and Austin Nielsen is about 2 seconds, and that's not a whole lot. With 14 laps left to go, it's doable, but you definitely would be hoping and praying for the drivers in front of you to be making mistakes and being able to take advantage of those overtakes, and kind of using the draft support of drivers around you. Brett Hahn right now, while he's able to stay behind. Actually, as I say this, Justin Callahan is involved in an incident. Let's see if we can take a look at that in the number 75 machine. First time we're going to be taking a look at Justin Callahan tonight. Oh, the number 4 machine just taps the bumper. Jamie Beasley just taps the rear bumper of that 75 of Justin Callahan. Just sends him around. Definitely hate to see that for Justin Callahan. That was an unfortunate sight to see for him. So that is going to be our 8th caution here tonight. So we get ready to take drivers around the track once again here. We're seeing the number 2 machine of John DeMeester take his lucky dog lap around the track. Get our field reshuffled here by race control and get ready to set things off here for the final 12 laps of round 7 here at Martinsville Speedway for the Frito-Lay Super Late Model Touring Series. What an excellent race that tonight has been. Even given the amount of cautions that we've had, we've just had an incredible race here tonight. Honestly, from all the action that we've seen from tonight's race, Honestly, this has been a fun broadcast so far tonight, and I hope everyone watching at home is enjoying what they're seeing. As the lights on our pace car have turned off once again here, letting us know that we are going to set things off here. Our pace car is in. Driver's taking it around turn 3, coming out of turn 4. Green flag is out. Blaze Brinkley doing what he does, taking a gap out on the rest of the field, and we have some drivers in the back of the field actually getting a little loose there. Saw the number 34 machine, or the number 94, excuse me, of Jeff O'Quinn And I hear cars getting involved in incidents here. Looks like Justin Callahan involved in this one. Right, let's take a look at that on the number 75 machine here once again. Oh, unfortunate to see that. Oh. I like to believe that that was just a little bit of driver miscommunication there. Justin Callahan trying to correct himself from whatever just happened, and the other drivers behind him weren't necessarily ready for it, and sent him for a little trip around the track here. As we are on our 9th caution here, and as we say in all of our broadcasts, or at least when we mention it, cautions breed cautions. Now, when you start to see these cautions come out more frequently for these drivers, I won't say it's for every single one, but for some, you know, it could be a little mentally deterring, you know, having to restart constantly, at least in this case, or at least feels constantly. It might not always be that way, but it can definitely be something that can be a little challenging for some drivers, I think, and that's why we see these multiple cautions come out, you know, one after, kind of back to back, if you will. You know, drivers might get a little distracted while the caution is out. You know, maybe they want to check their phone or look at the TV for a second if they have one near their rig, or whatever the case may be, and they, you know, get back into the groove of things, and whatever the case may be. There's multiple scenarios in which you can imagine, and I'm sure you'd come across a right one. And the lights are off on the pace car. This is gonna be last time around, hopefully, that we take under yellow conditions with only 11 laps left to go. Let's see if Blaze Brinkley can finish it out for a first pole position. And actually, Brett Hahn in 3rd currently. What a switch up in the front of the field here, and it's going to be an interesting one for Blaze Brinkley, as now he's going to have a very strong competitor here to deal with. As we enter into, coming out of turn 4 here, the green flag comes out. Blaze Brinkley taking a launch on the rest of the field here. Brett Hahn also trying to get a launch on the rest of the field as well, trying to catch up to the number 11 machine now. Only 11 laps left to go. He's going to have quite the task ahead of him to be able to make this happen and be able to make that pass on Blaze Brinkley, but I have no doubt that Brett Hahn will be able to do that here. A very strong driver, but Blaze here has been the lead guy here so far tonight, so if he's able to keep what he's got going and maintain his speed, 10 laps to go, he might be able to keep that first spot. But Brett Hahn on a mission, closing that gap ever so slightly. Every lap that we take here, it closes just a little bit more and more, especially on these straightaways here where Brett's able to get that 71 going just a little bit faster. Austin Nielsen. Ooh, and as I say that, another caution comes out onto the field. Oh boy, this is not what you want to see here, folks. Let's take a look at what happened here. Charles Darling, we're taking a look at in the number 88 machine. Looks like gets a little bit of a love tap there from Nick Fleury in the 25 machine. Does a great job of backing up, avoiding all the other traffic in the field. Charles Darling is going to now be 18th on this restart here with 8 laps left to go. Definitely going to be hurting for Charles Darling. But Brett Hahn now going to be behind Blaze Brinkley for this restart. Oh man, we are going to have a very heated last few laps here, as we also have Hayden Swank. Actually, Hayden's going to dip it down into pit road here for a second. I hate to see this for Hayden Swank, but since he took that pit, he was 3rd, and now he's going to be 18th, heading back out onto the field. I wonder what the strategy is here, or if he just wasn't confident in the car to be able to hold it out in 3rd and just said, you know what, hey, forget it. We're just going to go out and try and finish the rest of the race here and finish clean. I respect the decision of Hayden Swank there. Exactly why he made that decision, I'm not sure, but whenever a driver makes a call to play it safe rather than put everyone else's race at jeopardy, you always got to respect that. And the lights are off on the pace car. We're going to take things around the track here again. 8 laps left to go here for round 7, with 2 very strong competitors, Blaze Brinkley and Brett Hahn. Going to be duking it out for first place here, as well as Al Smith Jr. and Nick Fleury in the mix. Pace car is in. Entering turn 3, we're going to come out of turn 4 here, and the green flag is going to drop, and Blaze Brinkley is going to take off on the rest of the field here. He had to make that count, as Brett Hahn here is a very strong driver, as I've said already. Brett Hahn is very capable of being able to launch these cars just as well as Blaze is. So the fact that Blaze took that opportunity to get that car going as quickly as he possibly can on that restart, very smart strategy from Blaze there. And it's working out in his favor so far. Brett Hahn trying to get behind the number 11 machine, as we see our 11th caution come out onto the track. Hate to see this happen, folks. Only 7 laps to go here. Let's see if we can take a look at the carnage here. We have Cody Green in the number 22 machine. Looks like he's going to get a little bit of a love tap from the 51. And is, he's going to get tapped a few times, actually. Not a good race for Cody Green here. And definitely not the end of the race that we wanted to see here, with only 8 laps left to go. Blaze Brinkley leading out in the front of the field here, wiggling his car around ever so slowly, patiently waiting to get this race finished and over with. I'm sure Blaze is feeling the pressure of Brett Hahn behind him right on his tail and having to make these restarts work out in his favor. But I'm sure Brett Hahn is definitely loving seeing these cautions come out, giving him another opportunity to get around the number 11 of Blaze Brinkley here. As I believe this will be our last lap around the track here before we let things go here once again. We'll find out once the pace car passes the checkered line. And indeed it is. The lights are out on the pace car. 7 laps left to go here at Martinsville Speedway. An absolutely tense moment here for round 7. Especially for Blaze Brinkley and Brett Hahn in first and second currently. Pace car is in. Coming out of turn 4, and the green flag is out. Blaze Brinkley makes that start work for him once again. Brett Hahn trying to get on the tail of Blaze. Brett's doing all he can to try and push that 71 machine to catch up to Blaze, but it's not working out for him as much as he probably wants it to. Blaze is just absolutely crushing this track at this point in time. Brett Hahn is about the only person right now that can put any sort of pressure on Blaze. So it's going to be very interesting to see what these guys do here in these final 6 laps. As we see another caution come out onto the field here. Only 6 laps left to go. Oh, man. Looks like John DeMeester involved in this one in the number 2 machine here. Let's see what happens to John here. Looks like he goes down low into the 35 of Hayden Swank. Getting Hayden Swank and another driver involved in that as well. I believe that was the 34 of Austin Nielsen involved in that. I'm sure right now these guys are probably screaming at each other in chat. Well, not screaming, but probably encouraging each other in chat to let's get this race finished. 5 laps left to go here. Let's just get her done. I'm sure these guys are ready to get this thing over with as we have our 12th caution here. A few of them being from the last 30-ish laps of this race. Very unfortunate to see here for these guys. But overall, it has been an impressive race from everyone here involved. The action has been excellent to see and great to watch. Alright, I believe this is going to be the last lap. Nope. No, it is not. We're going to take things around one more time. Let drivers get back into their proper positions here. right, lights are off on the pace car. Let's see here if we can have a green final 5 laps here at Martinsville Speedway. Let's see what these guys can do here. Will Blaze Brinkley be able to hold it out in front of Brett Hahn? Or will Brett Hahn be able to get around the number 11 of Blaze Brinkley and take a first position for tonight's race? As our pace car heads into pit road, drivers enter into turn 3, ready to come out of turn 4. The green flag drops and Blaze Brinkley takes a lead on the rest of the field with Brett Hahn on the chase, trying to do what he possibly can to get behind the number 11 machine, as we've been seeing here in the final few laps here of this race. We're going to take a look at the wide angle here of the field as we take things around, just so we can see as much of the action as we can. You can see David Payton taking it around in the number 38 machine behind Nick Fleury. Nick Fleury is going to be 3rd currently. You can just see all of these guys. A lot of these guys have quite enough space, but you see some drivers going side by side here, getting a little interesting with their action. But the real action here is in the front of the field, where we have a potential shakeup for the first position. But with 3 laps left to go here, will Brett Hahn be able to make it happen and get around Blaze Brinkley? So far, it's looking like Blaze is going to be able to stick it out in front of Brett. 2 laps left to go here. It's going to be a knuckle biter for sure. The white flag is out. We are on the final lap here at Martinsville Speedway. Blaze Brinkley still in first with Brett Hahn right on his tail. Nick Fleury in 3rd in the number 25 machine. Oh, and a little bit of a tap there from Brett Hahn to Blaze. But we're going to take it across the checkered line just A-okay and wrap up today's race. Wow. I was almost expecting to see Blaze get spun around there. That was very close. Very, very close there from Blaze and Brett Hahn. Very good job to Blaze Brinkley for being able to hold it out and not let go of his position. Now, definitely a well-earned burnout lap here for Blaze. Wow. Let's take a look at our race results today. Blaze Brinkley in 1st with Brett Hahn 2nd and Nick Fleury in 3rd. David Payton in 4th and Andrew Payne in 5th. That's going to round out your top 5. Let's begin our driver interviews here. First up is going to be Nick Fleury in the number 25 machine. Let's get Nick Fleury down here. Nick, sir, can you read me?
I can.
Nick, you had an interesting race here. Where do I begin? Well, you were looking pretty solid out there for quite a while, and then you got involved into an incident. Not quite too sure what happened, but you found yourself in pit road for a minute there. You got some stuff fixed, and you found yourself back out on track, doing a great job, and you're in 3rd place. What all led to this for you tonight, man?
Yeah, that was a lot of work tonight. Basically, I made it harder than I needed to. There after the pit stops, I just totally forgot to let my tires come up in temperature, and there I go. I spun out coming off the corner. But then I just kept my head down, stayed clean, and made it back up to 3rd while some other guys were starting to run out of fuel.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. You played the strategy there quite well. And I was kind of wondering that to myself here in the booth. A lot of drivers kind of seem to have different strategies as far as pit strategy. But you seem to make it work pretty well in your favor. I mean, you weren't leading out in the front of the field a whole lot this race, but you were able to stick it out in the final portion, if you will, especially with all these cautions that came out towards the end of the race. I'm sure it kind of played in your favor a little bit, but very impressive work from you, Nick. Before I let you go here tonight, man, is there anyone watching that you'd like to give a shout out to, a thank you, before I let you go?
Yeah, for sure. First, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, and then also my wife, who lets me play this. I definitely need to thank my sponsors, CPM Incorporated, J. Angle Home Improvements, The league sponsors Frito-Lay and PepsiCo and Luke Oil. And lastly, Mike's Garage, who puts together some really fast race cars for me.
Awesome, Nick. Thank you for coming into the podium tonight, or into the booth tonight, and talking with me. Great third place finish. With that, good luck to you in next week's race, and hopefully I'll get to talk to you again.
Thank you very much.
All right, have a good night, Nick. All right, that was Nick Fleury in the number 25 machine. Up next, the man that we were looking out for, Brett Hahn in the 71, with an interesting race. Brett Hahn, can you read me, sir?
Yeah, I got you, Mason.
Oh, Brett, you had quite the race for you here tonight. We saw you all over the field. I saw you overtaking guys in the beginning of the race, and you made it all the way up into, I believe it was 4th place, before you saw yourself kind of all the way in the back of the field and having to rework your way back up. How was that for you tonight, Brett?
Oh, Mason, it was very stressful. I had to go through the field twice, as you said, and it was awesome to go through the field like we did. I think the 71 had some of the best speed ahead here at Martinsville. I totally had something for Blaze if only we had a few more laps, or I didn't go to the back there mid-race, because I tell you what, my machine was moving there at the end.
Yeah, Brett, it definitely looked like if you had just a few more laps to get around and be able to overtake Blaze, it definitely looked like you had the faster machine there towards the end. What was kind of running through your mind, especially with all these cautions that we had towards the end of the race? Were you kind of hoping to use these cautions to your advantage and be able to get around Blaze?
Well, actually, Mason, I was hoping that we didn't see too many cautions, because Blaze would get such an awesome restart that you'd gain like 3 to 5 car lengths on me that I'd have to make that up going through the next couple corners. So I was glad we at least got a 5-lap run at the end. I wish we had more, because like we saw, the 71 machine was moving really good, and in that last corner, I just had to get to Blaze's bumper for my sake, just to say that I at least tried to get there. I wasn't going to wreck him or anything, just like Ron last week. I just wanted to get to his bumper, maybe rattle his cage a little.
Yeah, we saw that in the booth. Loved the love tap there. Love to see that. Brett, before I let you go, is there anyone watching at home that you'd like to give a shout out to, a thank you?
Yeah, of course. It's a very, very difficult scheme on the car tonight. Brought to you by a 5-year-old at MS Paint tonight. Very, very great design. Of course, Tagaray Property Management on the back. All the admins here at ASRC, Frito-Lay, PepsiCo, Tagaray, of course, Luke Oil, all the admins to make it happen. Blaze, awesome win tonight. That was impressive. Wish I could have battled you a little bit more. To Nick Fleury, sorry about the contact with the lap car, threw us off, so didn't mean to get into you there. And yeah, of course, all the fans watching at home, mom, dad, sister, brother, my grandparents, and all the other Brett the Jet fans watching. A little different scheme tonight, and I came up talking to you in the booth, and of course you, Mason, and Team Goon Squad for putting this thing on.
Absolutely, Brett. Thank you for coming up in the booth, and absolutely impressive race, Brett. I look forward to seeing you next week, and hopefully get to talk to you again.
Yep, hopefully, Mason. Hopefully we'll continue this streak of podiums, and if not, hopefully maybe back in victory lane.
Yes, sir. All right, Brett, you have a great night. Look forward to seeing you next week.
Yep, you as well. Thank you.
All right, that was Brett Hahn in the 71 machine. Last but not least, Blaze Brinkley in the number 11. Blaze, sir, can you read me?
Yeah.
Blaze, man, you had an incredible race here tonight. You had a very fast machine. You led a lot of laps here with quite a lot of speed and just great performance. The one thing that I gotta ask you that's really weighing on my mind, that last section of the race there, Blaze, where you had Brett Hahn kind of on your tail on the hunt. How was that for you? What was your strategy to stay out in front of Brett?
I knew if I kept my drive off, then he could never pull under me, so I didn't have to worry about how close he got. I hate that we kept having yellows there, because that just kind of screws me up a lot. It doesn't really let the race play out. I like when the race goes green flag, obviously. When it went green earlier, I was able to stretch the lead out a little bit, but I don't know. Those yellows just hurt.
Yeah, Blaze, I gotta agree with you. It definitely can be a little wearing on a driver's mentality when you have as many cautions that we saw, especially with how close together that they were at the tail end of the race. It can definitely be a little wearing. Now, going forward into next week's race, are you kind of hoping for a green flag run there, or what's your expectations for next week?
Yeah, obviously, try to stay optimistic and think that we can go a race and just have, decent green flag run. Like, this race was doing pretty good, and just something at the end happened. So, hopefully next week we can just clear up the end, and we'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely, Blaze. Now, before I let you go here tonight, is there anyone watching that you'd like to give a shout out to, a thank you, before I let you go here?
Yeah, Noah Allison, he was in this race, and he unfortunately wrecked or got X'd out, something like that. And then JHGD Raps, he keeps me looking good in all these nice race cars.
Awesome, Blaze. Thank you for coming out into the booth tonight and talking with me. Impressive race for you tonight. Congratulations on your first place win. Hopefully, we'll see you do the same thing next week and get to talk to you again.
Thank you.
All right, Blaze. Have a good one. All right, everyone. That was Blaze Brinkley, our pole setter for tonight in the number 11 machine. That's going to wrap up round 7 here at Martinsville Speedway for the Frito-Lay Super Late Model Touring Series. Before I let everyone go here, I would like to give a thank you to Frito-Lay as well as the American Sim Racing Club for putting on tonight's race and allowing us to broadcast this event. If you guys like today's action and would like to join in on some of this racing, go on down to the link there in the bottom of your screen, AmericanSimRacingClub.com. Check out their website and see what they have to offer, and if any of their races are something you'd be interested in, hit them up, see what they have to offer for you, and if it's something that you want to do, give it a shot and find yourself on the Team Goon Squad broadcast, potentially. And as always, my name is Mason Heimbaugh, bringing you tonight's action. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, we'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. Get subscribed if you aren't already so you can stay tuned on all of our action that we have throughout the week. Thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all next week for round number 8. Thank you guys, and have a great night.